So welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm delighted today we've got Sergio Raimundo. Sergio, you don't know this yet, but I'm a Spurs fan. So for me, this is a little bit special sitting here talking to you about your history. First of all, how are you?
Oh, good, mate. It's special for you and for me too, because winning the that title with that great club was amazing. It was something I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
Me too, to be honest. I know you wasn't there at the parade. I know the story is that you had to go to was you completing your badges
Yeah,
or something like that. You didn't actually do the parade.
yeah, I was in the IFA in the Irish Football Association doing the pro lessons, and because we came from Bilbao, I was late already one day. I said, "Look, you have to be professional, and the job is done." So and we're all happy, and that's the major thing. Let's people celebrate, and we keep pushing because you can't afford much time to dwell on success. Although I know people likes to celebrate, and it's good when you win. Celebrate because it's special and something unique. But on the other hand, life keeps going, and one day we'll have enough time to rest when we can.
Yeah, and I'm sure you couldn't delay your badges either. Um, we went to it was I went with my wife and my daughter. It was her first experience really of being around like football fans. It was just the most magical day. There was thousands of people climbing up on all the buildings and everything. It was crazy, but it was a great day. So yeah, so first of all, thank you for that. I think it's a sort of time that us Spurs fans will never forget. Obviously, slightly different for us now at the moment. I'm sure we'll get onto a little bit of that. But I want to start with a lot of Spurs fans probably don't know about your journey. You've probably got one of the most unique coaching journeys I've ever seen. But yeah, talk us through it because the countries I've got here, correct me if I'm wrong by the way, Portugal, Senegal, Austria, Brazil, a stint in Canada, Australia, Scotland, and then England. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You've done your homework.
What a crazy journey! Obviously, you started at Benfica. I think the world knows how great Benfica is for youth prospects and building some of the best athletes in the world. How was that experience for like your first sort of coaching
Yeah,
role?
it was fantastic. I always say, of course, our journey always starts on the place we are born. Because although we have a bit of genetic in us, I never believed when people say, "Oh, it's genetic" or "It's you're born for that." I don't believe in that. I always believe that you can create your own reality. You learn from what's around you, but you don't need to allow what's around you to dictate who you're gonna be. And I started developing a very strong sense of if I want it, I'll fight for it. And when
Mm.
people used to say it's not possible, I'll just make it happen and persist and work. And in the end, the two words, because a lot of people do ask me, how do you do this? How do you get here or get that? And I always say, work hard and be humble. And it's the two things that look small but are very significant. It has a big meaning when you start a job because it's easy to get carried away. Even now, winning the Europa League, it's easy to get carried away.
Yeah.
I've done this, done that, but it doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. You need to be on it and go for what you want all the time and stay humble because everybody has a story. Everybody's human, and people react for different reasons. And after my journey when I was younger, playing in the neighborhood and stuff, and in lower leagues, also a stint in the athletics where I was really good. Yeah, I was strong in the 400 meters. Um, we actually ran with the Aston Villa doctor Arnaldo Brantes. He's the head of medical.
No way! What a
So
small world.
the coincidence to see him a few years ago when I went to spend a day at Forest and he was there. I didn't know about it. But small world, and in my world it started like that. You start knowing people, be nice, work hard, and coincidences they start to happen because you know the people know you're reliable, you can work, Then I went to the Marines, where I had a it was a big experience because it tested for 3 years, tested my mentality, the mindset, the human limits, what your body and mind can do and can achieve. And it's bigger than what people think. I think most of the people quit too early, and that taught me how not to quit, how to believe that you can make big things even when other people think it's not possible. It's all a matter of
Yeah.
mindset and work, honestly, and believing and persisting. And then when I go to Benfica, I started with the younger ones, with the younger kids, which were fantastic. Big players came out of that. So when Jota, for example, from Celtic, at the time he was there, he wasn't my player, but he was in our group. And then I started working after a few years at Benfica in the youth. So I went up. I was academy assessor, so of the academy director, and also under 19 assistant. And we had big players. Some play in the Premier League or played. So I've developed some players for the opponents, our opponents last season.
Yeah, it's not good.
But good. Bernardo Silva, João Cancelo was one. André Gomes played for Everton. Ivan Cavaleiro, Fulham. Elder Costa, he had a stint at Leeds. Um, José Sá was in the squad for a bit, but not much. Ederson Moraes was in the squad for the beginning of the season, and then ended up going somewhere else. But it was an academy that really had this quality,
Yeah.
and this quality was brought through forward because on the year after I was there, they created the B team at Benfica, and all these players, instead of going elsewhere or disappearing, they had a progression to the second league in Portugal, and then to other top leagues. And it was great because I always say in that moment in time, I learned more from the players than I teach them. So I helped them mentally with a couple of things. Technically, maybe not much because they were fantastic arriving at 18 years old, because I worked with them at that age. And I've learned how to deal with the egos, the different beliefs, the different expectations of them wanting to play. And that helped me a lot fast forward than working in top leagues with the players, and
Yeah.
working for Tottenham for sure, because of Bernardo Silva when he's 18, or a Cancelo, or André Gomes, or all these players, they do have that strong belief and the big standards of the big players already. And I was well with them and getting on and understanding their mentality, which helped me a lot, and I learned a lot from it. And then I think the biggest history, not going through all the countries, was when the year I left Benfica. I was asked if I wanted to stay as a reserve team assistant coach, but I always had in my mind something which people call craziness, because why would you leave Benfica, a big club, to go to Senegal for 2 years? And the answer for me, it was easy, and that's where I say I always had a big mindset and a strong mindset, and a big belief on a process. And my process was, I want to learn cultures. I want to work with the best players in the world. So I need to understand what an African player thinks, on how do they think, how do they communicate. They speak in French, so if I speak French, I'll know how to get on better with them, and make them perform better too. And that was how I started going, and having opportunities, and going to Austria and developing the German, which I speak 6 languages. Maybe is the one I don't speak as well, because I speak fluent and write all those other 5. German I can speak and write, but not perfectly, but still enough to deliver a session, to do a press conference. And that's why I started going in those ways. And what I always say is, the biggest difference maybe you'll find from me to most of the coaches is that I really never had an agent. I had people that wanted to help me here and there, but never had somebody who was representing me, and the jobs came because people either liked the personality and the style of work until I met Monty. I met him on
Yep.
the UEFA. One day, tell me to go to Australia, and then suddenly we spend 5 years in Australia, Scotland. We worked together at Tottenham, at Nottingham, and it was just fantastic because he was somebody I met, somebody that was good, was like a brother to me with the same values, same work ethic, and we got on well with each other, and when we kept going together. So the journey, it is different because it's a strong, you need a strong mindset to say, no, I'm going to go to Senegal because I want to learn the language, I want to learn different cultures. I can't just stop here for the next 10 years because all I'm going to learn is Portuguese culture, which I was born in it and I know well.
Yeah.
And being in a club that normally fights to win, but what about being at Marinos as I was in with Monty in Australia, that for 10 years they're last or before last, and what about developing players there, sending to the biggest leagues in the world, and win a trophy with them? So that was that was the mindset behind, and the rest has been work, hard work, being humble, down to earth. Also, not listening much what people say, because most of the people who say it's impossible this, it's impossible that. I've learned in the Marines sometimes there was a big obstacle, and I would go first because I'll put in my head, I don't want to see how the others do it. I'll do first, and I'll learn how to do it, and I don't care what's the result. I'm gonna learn from it, and that's been my attitude in life. Just sometimes I offered my jobs to other people and they didn't want it because it was a low salary or it was too
Yeah.
far or they were paying their mortgage or their car. I say, okay, it's I understand, and it is whatever people choose to follow. It's what they have to follow. But that's how I got there. Was doing also big efforts financially and in terms of traveling kilometers, and that's how also you get the biggest reward. You learn, you grow.
Well, in all of this, you've like a player, you've moved around to different countries, different experiences. Have you got a partner?
Two.
Do you have a partner? A
Yeah,
wife, a
I
partner?
I did had. We're in divorce process now, but I did had for a bit. Not all the journey, but for a bit.
It's difficult, right? Trying to like
It's not easy.
balance that, and you're moving around to different places, chasing your ambition. You've got a clear, to me, what I've seen throughout like your career, you've got a clear sort of thread of working with youngsters. You see it at Benfica, you see it in Australia, you see it at Tottenham. So Tottenham, I don't know if there was conversations with yourselves as a coaching team and the board there, but they clearly changed their strategy to try and bring in some young talent that are going to be there for a few years. You worked with Archie Gray, with Lucas Bergval, even like some of the academy players coming through, Mikey Moore, Mattis Tell. Did that experience you had previously working in Australia, bringing some of those youth players up through the first team and obviously going on to some of the European teams, did that help you in terms of your relationship with those?
Definitely, because you understand. First, I understand the culture, the French. Lucas Bergvall, Swedish, a bit different, but not so far. I know a bit of the north of Europe too. Had players from there before. It's not far from the Austrian mentality.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
Archie
yeah,
Gray,
Pape Sarr.
Papesar, Archie Gray, such a fantastic guy. So, in terms of recruitment, no, there was no conversations, at least uh, on my side or with most maybe of the coaches. But yes, our role was to help them, was to develop them the furthest we could, and I think they were forced to. When we saw the scenario of injuries last season, they were forced into jumping into the first team and doing more games than they were probably expecting. But
Yeah,
it was good for them, and it's good on the long run. Of course, it's painful sometimes in terms of everybody speaks about the league, but I think we're 17 in the league by choice, not because anything else. you can choose. We could be 15th or 14th or 12th and not winning the Europa League. What do you prefer? You know, I know what I prefer.
Completely agree. And
I prefer
to
to
be
parade,
honest,
even if I wasn't there.
abs-
To parade to being 12th,
absolutely.
and then you get Champions League, and then suddenly you're playing a team like PSG. That has 7 days to prepare for a Super Cup, and you have another possibility of another trophy. So,
We
so
were so close there
in
as well.
the
We
end,
actually played well.
but that scenario was good for them because made them speed up their development and making more games. And suddenly they're called for the national team, like Lucas in Sweden, first team. And Odobert also, it's another young one that came through, although a bit later. But of the pathway and the way to develop them, it's not hard and very different. It's just showing them what's normal at their age and showing them that the mistakes are normal.
Hmm.
What they have is to keep working on it and trying to learn from it, because we say we either lose or learn. Of course, we all want to win. If you say you all we all always want to win, but how in the Premier League, you're talking about the biggest league in the world. It's not You're not talking about a league where you can do that and still be top of the league. You're talking about the biggest and most competitive league in the world, with the
Yeah.
full stadiums, full pressure, media's on it. It's the best in the world. So for them at that age to have the amount of games they had was fantastic,
It's
and
a lot.
they had to manage was the lows and the downs, because the downside or the upper side can be massive. And suddenly now going to this season, I wasn't there, but I could imagine that making that amount of games before will create a different expectation, even more accelerated for the season after. So definitely working with that, that's my specialty, to be honest, working with that range of 16, 17. I always work either under 19 or when they didn't have reserves or first team. So working in that range of, it's my biggest strength, and I can rely to them and explain them how to manage their ups and downs and the expectations and the mistakes and the impact media, and warn them about future hazards that can start coming with the success.
Yeah.
So definitely helps, and knowing the cultures and the languages also.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of that this season with Mikey Moore. So I think Mikey came into the first team a little bit towards the end of last season. I think there was 1 or 2 games he actually started. Obviously, he got a loan move to Rangers, and I think he'd probably be the first to admit at the start it just looked like it wasn't a fit that was going to work. There was a change in management there. They got Danny Roll in, and Mikey looks like a completely different player, and he looks like he's built strength, and he plays on the half turn. He's looking really good, and you speak to a lot of Rangers fans. They're really enjoying watching him there, and it's great for us to see at Tottenham one of our young players doing so well. Did you ever get a chance that? I mean, there's another talent within Tottenham that we talk about, Luca Williams-Barnett. Did you ever get a chance to see him up close? Like, what's your thoughts on him?
Yes, yes. He was. He was. We actually took him to an Europa League away game once or twice, maybe. Yes, he's another one that with work with persistence, he can have a good career. And the one I loved all the time was the centre back. He's been on the bench already a couple of times.
Byfield. Is it Byfield?
Byfield, yeah, and
Good player.
very good young player with a lot of potential, hardworking, humble, with a great mental profile too, and I trust he'll what's his first name? Do you remember? I just forgot.
Janai? Is it Janai?
Junai. Yeah, Junai. Byfield, yeah.
Yeah.
and I believe he can become a massive player in the league. But again, how do you manage? And this is the most important.
Yeah,
Because I'm telling you, those players when I was at Benfica, the Cancelo, the Bernardo Silva, the André Gomes, many people didn't believe in them. Especially Bernardo, because he was small, he was not powerful. Some people would say they wouldn't even play in the second league, which was, I always think that's craziness, what these guys are saying. But yeah, I respect the opinion is the opinion. Where the player arrives, it's another thing. It doesn't depend on people's opinions. But if you don't create the B team, those players will disappear.
yeah.
It's like a
You
Junai.
need to have that route, that progression.
How do you manage Junai now from there till he becomes an established player in the league? And many things can happen. I'm telling that he
Of
will.
course,
In,
you just don't know.
injuries, life circumstances, choices of management of club, it may change his whole life. So you always think on the best scenario in your head when you say somebody will get there. But I always prefer to
Yeah,
say the ones that I think will. So I always see in the best scenario that will happen, but he's gonna have ups, downs. Maybe plays in a possession team, and it's his game is different. Maybe he plays in a more defending team, and then he develops the clearances, the marking on an offensive team, the passing, the through balls, the diagonals, the squeezing up, the managing the space in behind. So the scenario will dictate where he's going to develop more and how quick he's going to get there, and if he's going to. But also managing the media, the expectations, the choices, the life choices,
yeah,
the, the day-to-day choices, not only sporting choices, but the day-to-day choices. So there's many things that can impact that, and it's important if you used to work with those type of players, you know where to guide them, because just need guidance. The quality is there, just guidance in their way.
yeah. To stay on the right path. And Sergio, what are you up to now? Like, what does life look like for you now? Obviously, your last role was at Nottingham Forest. I think we all know that was a short-term assignment for you and the team. But yeah, what are you up to now?
Well, look, I keep watching games. Went to watch Champions League game here, the Sporting against Bodo, Europa League Porto against Stuttgart. The league itself, went to watch a couple of interesting teams we have in the league now. Estoril, Gil Vicente, Moreirense, and just watching games, second league games, and doing a bit. I still was with Scott Mann at Tottenham, the CFO, and guide him in Portugal as he's working with a group that is searching for clubs in Europe and kind of guiding him in some things I can do. But in the
Yeah,
end, watching games, keep tabs on players of different levels, and talking to people, learning. It's a I never had this time from Tottenham to Forest, and now from Forest to now. So it's been actually good to slow down, because I always been 100 mile an hour 24/7. Slow down, have a breather, see the scenarios, see what's there, keep tabs on your players, on the teams, on the different leagues, watching the Premier League, of course. That I always did even before I was there. So, and watching a bit of, and then it happens like this: work in Australia, work in Scotland. So you watch a bit of SPL, you watch a bit of the Australian League, and that's it. Watching games, players, keeping talk to people, learn, keep seeing what's the trends. I talked to some uni professors I had, see what's the trends in terms of studying, what's the other coaches, what's the trends in terms of training, and trying to stay updated.
yeah. Is the idea that in the new season, next season, that you're looking for another role?
Yes, it's possible. Let's see. It's possible. I had a couple of possibilities until now, but it's been good just to have this time to see the things from a different perspective. And
Yeah,
it was a big hit, to be honest. When we left Nottingham, it was a big hit because we did think, and I do think we did played well, and everything was showing that, but the results weren't. In the end, that's what matters, and that's what was the guiding thing, and we have to accept it, acknowledge it, and but make sure, like when you say we learn, we learn. So if you're going to do the same thing and make the same mistakes, then you're not learning anything. So make sure
yeah,
we revise all that, learn, and be ready for what's next. Make sure the same things don't happen because it was good to win the Europa League. It was good to win the league in Australia. It wasn't good to be sacked at both Forest and Tottenham. It wasn't good to lose the final of the cup in Australia. So make sure we repeat more of what feels good.
yeah, absolutely. And I think even from a Spurs perspective, I was rooting for you guys to do well at Forest, even though it was another team in the Premier League. I just think because of that connection that us fans have with you guys as a coaching group and what you've given to us, we wanted you to do well. But like you say, it's a life lesson, right? You move on and you'll move on to something else. So wish you the best of luck with that. I'm going to move on to a different section now, just to get a bit more of an insight into a bit more about yourself. So, who was your childhood hero?
Look, besides my dad, with worked hard and was working 12 hours a day, I had a player. A player marked me a lot in Portugal because I always believed he was the best in the world, but I never really hear much about him. You should. Of course, He went through West Ham for a small spell. Was Paulo Futre. He played for Atletico Madrid, big legend. He was at Porto. He was in Portugal. He played in the big teams, but he was such a fantastic player, but also a bit like George Best. He was different mentally. He just didn't
On
care
the edge, yeah.
with anyone or anything. He'll just go for it and mag whoever he wanted to mag and go one on people, quick, fast, strong shot. What a fantastic player! He was unbelievable, and I think he doesn't have the recognition he deserves. I always think he was the most fantastic player I've ever seen playing. To be honest, even now he will be special and different. So go and watch some highlights of him. Paulo Futre was somebody that inspired me a lot and made me love the game. To be honest.
Someone that gets the fans off their seats, and we see. Like, obviously, I know
Season three.
you're quite
That's to be season three.
yeah, yeah.
All good
Don't.
off the seats.
We were loving that. But that's like, even Ange done that, right? Ange wanted players to attack and to get fans off their seat and to entertain, which is great, right? Because the fans pay so much money and they want to be entertained. They want to see good football. So that's a really good shout. Other than the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, what's the best stadium that you visited?
Yeah, if you say other than, then it is. Yeah, but Tottenham was our home and was the best. Look, it's hard because you say names and then of course in England I love all the historical ones, but I'll say just for maybe quality and also how modern it is, and the only maybe stadium that is equivalent with Tottenham, maybe the Bernabeu. So it's
Yeah,
it's the only stadium in the world I can think it kind of rivals with, and I've been also at the Bayer Arena, which is also good. But I'll say Bernabeu other than the Tottenham Stadium.
yeah. I am biased, but the Tottenham Stadium is good. Who's the most talented player that you've coached?
That I've coached. It's going to be hard on one of them, but I would give Bernardo Silva and João Cancelo. They're fantastic play. And Bernardo for that left foot quality, the end game vision, the intelligence. Cancelo for the change of direction, both footed, the intensity, attacking. I would say both of them. Maybe maybe give the trophy to Bernardo, as we always used to call him Benfica's president, because one day he's going to be the president. I'm sure of that. He loves the club.
Maybe he goes back there one day. Who knows? Who knows?
He goes back
What
there.
a player!
I think he will. But he is such an intelligent player. You could see. So imagine we're coaches. We always tend to this and that and what, and he will do better than what you're thinking about. So that says a lot about him. There's other top players, so many of them, but I would say Bernardo was really an outstanding,
The one.
intelligent phenomenon.
I remember watching him when he was at Monaco, and I was like, we need to try and get this guy. He was so good. And Cancelo, like he had an interesting start of his career. He was at Valencia at one point, right?
Yeah.
And then we just see the best of him. Some of his years at Man City was absolutely unbelievable. Okay, so we'll move on to some of the next questions. Who's the player you connected with the most?
Well, there's so many. It's hard. But for example, at Spurs, I had a very good connection with, I think, with everyone, to be honest. But Pedro Porro was maybe one because he played in Portugal. He won the league here. He had a house near me, so we kind of always had a different feeling. But of course, in other realities, in other clubs, at Australia, all of them, because such a work making those local guys becoming professionals. I still have some. Luke Wall, which I speak with a lot, and he was at Stuttgart. He came back now in the league.
Yeah.
But for different reasons, because it's not a whole thing. For different reasons, there will be some you relate more with or less. But look, of course, when you're in the club, you wish them all well, and maybe that's one thing I'm different with, and I don't care if I really relate with somebody or not, as long as they play the best they can. And sometimes it's even good we don't relate much because they play better like that. But I want them all to do well because it's your team. So, and I think they all feel that. So they all end up getting on well with you because you feel it doesn't matter if you're being good or bad, but you do want them to do well. And I want all my players always to do well.
Yeah.
Deki Kulusevski, also somebody I enjoyed the talks at times. A very intelligent guy. He likes his philosophy in his books, and somebody with Romero also. I like Kuti. He's the winner. He was there when we needed him. He was there for that trophy to guide the team in and out of the pitch. So, I think I throw those names in, but
yeah,
I want them all.
It just shows, I think, like making that connect. It's as much as it's tactical. I think one of the good things about being a good coach is like building those relationships with those players because they're more likely to want to work for you, right? Yeah. We'll move on to. I'm going to move on to this. Will be the last question of this section. Can you give me one word to describe your relationship with Nick Montgomery?
He's a one word brother.
Go on.
He's a brother from a different mother, and look, we were always loyal to each other. I think it's brother loyal, one of both, but brother, yes, for sure. Somebody that became very important in my life. Not only I just spent an hour talking to him before we got in.
Nice.
And he's somebody that it went way above and beyond what's the game. It's somebody I speak with. I can have an open conversation. We can say what we think. You won't take it badly if I say, look, I don't think you're doing the right thing, or I think this is not well. But we always do it in a way to help being constructive and help getting things better. And I think nowadays I feel most of the relations are a bit hidden. So you only say what people wants to hear. I feel to have success, you do need to be honest, and if it's not working, something you need, but you need to know how to tell it. But you need to tell it. If you don't get, if you don't improve your, if you don't improve the way you do things, and if you don't improve your process, you won't get better. So
Yeah,
somebody I can trust to speak openly about things and about in goes way beyond in the personal life also, in terms of life choices, in terms of career, is maybe the reason why I never had an agent. He was good always negotiating stuff for me. So I always bothered only to coach and he'll take care of everything. He's a proper manager.
a good team, a good team. So he's out in China now, and he's obviously just won the. Is he the won the title out there in
In the
China?
Super Cup,
Uh,
to Shanghai Port, big team. They won
yeah,
2-0. Beijing with Monty won 2-0 in the final. So that's his um, third senior trophy since 2023. So that's been now 2021. So please, 5 years, 3 trophies. Not a bad start for him.
not a bad return at all. It's been great knowing a little bit more about your background, about your career. We're going to go on to the last section now, and this last section is called Football Blackjack, and this is a game that we've been developing as me and my friends, and we've run it offline for a few years, but this year we're building an app for it. It's a good fun game, and it's easy to do. And I'm going to give you a challenge. So the challenge of the game is you need to try and pick 4 players, and they all need to collectively score 21 goals. So I'm going to give you a season in the Premier League. We'll do last season, so the 24-25 season. You've got to try and pick 4 players that collectively got 21 goals, but all of them need to have scored at least one for you to be active. Does that make sense?
It's easy for me because I've been there last season.
Let's see. Yeah, let's test your knowledge. Let's test your knowledge.
So,
Who are you going with? I'll give you an update after each one to see what score we're at.
so I'll surprise you. Yeah, Christian Romero
Romero, Kuti.
last season.
Where was Kuti last year? So how many Premier League goals did he get? Let's have a look. So Kuti got last season. Oh, because he was injured quite a lot, wasn't he? He scored 1 Premier League goal last season.
So I'll give you Richarlison. Was quite injured also.
Richie got 4 goals last season, so you're on 5. So you've still got, how's my maths, 16 to go.
So I know my boy, so I'll give you Jet Spence.
Jed Spence. Did he score?
Yeah, he did score one.
Oh, he scored 1. He scored 1 in the Premier League last year. So that puts you on 6.
And now I'm needing 15, isn't it? That's very easy.
Yeah.
I'll give you Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer.
Premier League, yeah.
Spot on. Oh my gosh.
Magic, Jack, magic.
Spot on. You know your stats.
So 3 of them and then no stop.
That is amazing. You know what? I've already recorded a few podcasts, and you're the first person who's got Bob on 21. So well done.
The special aura, that's why we keep winning trophies for sure.
Sergio, thank you. Look, it's been, for me personally, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you and learn a bit about your history, and obviously talk about Tottenham. Tottenham aren't doing great at the moment. We all know that, and we're living in hope. I don't know what's going to happen.
And I've been there, and we suffer, but in the end, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And people are asking me about it, even in Portugal, and I say, look, top facilities, the boys are underperforming at the moment, but they eventually click. and they'll have the strength to go through this for sure. The quality is there, the supporters, the stadium, the facilities, the training. So it's a matter of a click. It's a pity season three isn't better at the moment than season two, but as it could have been. But stay strong. We all felt Spursy at some point. We thought we killed the word after the Europa League. It's coming a bit back, but in the end, I believe in those players in the squad. They're Ange told it publicly. They're underperforming at the moment, but they'll find the strength to get all together and go through this period, and then there's a different work to be done. Then
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Thank you, Sergio. Take care.
see you, Jack. Pleasure.